Welcome back to the channel, guys. What we're going to be doing today is a kit review on these little babies here, which is the N4 night vision device from GT Media. So obviously operating at night, if you've got something that enhances your capabilities, your vision, then it's going to enable you to do your job more effectively, and it's going to give you better capabilities. So quite a lot during driving, during mobility operations, we use night vision devices quite a lot because you're operating at night, you're moving at night. Also for parachuting, so for Halo and Hey-Ho, obviously you don't wear them for static line round parachuting operations because you're only in the air for 20 seconds or so anyway. During the square canopy jumps with Halo and Hey-Ho, I use them quite a bit there as well. So I've got a fair bit of experience using these sorts of devices. That's my background in using night vision devices. I've used them on exercises all around the world and on operations too. But I do understand that technology's moved on from what I used 10 years ago, because technology is always moving on, isn't it? So this is the N4 night vision device from GT Media, okay? Full transparency, I was sent this. I didn't pay for this. I was sent this by the company to do a trial on. When they got in touch with me and said, do you want to do a trial on some night vision devices? Obviously I said, yeah. I will go on to the cost of that later on in the video, but here in the UK, for anyone watching, say in the United States and places like that, night vision is not readily available in the UK as much as places in the States and other parts of the world, okay? It's really, really expensive to get the military spec kit. So what this is, yes, it's not going to give you the same capabilities. I'll put that up front now. It's not going to give you the same capabilities as a military night vision goggle or something like that. But then again, it hasn't got the £3,000 price tag or whatever those things cost. That's even if you can get hold of them, because they're actually very hard to get hold of in this country. So what I'm going to do now then, I'm going to talk through the device. I'm going to talk through the functions and features of the device. Then I'm going to show it in use. And then at the end, I'll do a conclusion talking about pros and cons of the device, limitations, capabilities, and how I see it being best used. So the N4 arrives in this hard case, which is quite a nice touch actually. They provide a little protective case for it. Just unzip it like so, open it up, and there it is. So the main device is here then. There's the night vision device itself there then. So I'm just going to put that down to one side, and that comes in this little bit of protective material there. Also with the device then, you get like a sling. So basically like a normal pair of binoculars, this will attach up via these little loops here, these little sling swivels here, and you can wear it like a normal set of binoculars around your neck, which is what I think would be the best use for this, but I'll go into more on that later. You've got an instruction leaflet there with lots of different languages in there, so that's good, so you don't have to go online to find out how to use the device that you have to do with some devices nowadays. You've got a little carry case there, which is actually quite handy because, in some uses, you're not going to want to take this big hard case out with you. That might be handy for just slotting it in the top of a day sack or something like that. Then you've got this head mount here, okay? So it's very similar to like a GoPro type mount, and it's GoPro compatible as well. So that's quite clever because you can, I'm guessing you could probably use some of the GoPro accessories with this device. I'll talk about that in more detail later. Then you've got a mounting plate. Again, I'll talk about that more later, but that's used in conjunction with that head piece there. You've got a charging cable, because this actually obviously charges up. You've got little pen drives there, so that's quite unusual, having a storage device with it as well. And you also get the memory card, the SD card, that I've actually taken out and put in the device already because I've actually used it for doing some trial work with. Again, that's quite nice that they supply that, because I know there's nothing in that box right now, but a lot of devices you buy nowadays, you have to buy your own memory devices for for the actual thing itself. Then you've got a lens cleaning cloth there. So that's quite a nice touch as well, actually, as it goes. So that's all the parts there as it comes. What I'm going to do now then is I'm going to give a general description of the device and then talk through some functions and features. So the whole thing is made of ABS plastic, which makes it relatively tough, but obviously you can't knock it around too much. It weighs 390 grams. Now it feels really light for the size of it. Talking of size, okay, from front to rear is 150 mils. From left to right is 125 millimeters. Top to bottom, 64 millimeters. Okay, you can see that it's got all the little buttons and features on it then. These are obviously your eyepieces here. This is the mounting plate for the little device that attaches it as a night vision camera. I'll talk about that more as we go through. This little screw here, this undoes, so this basically undoes like so. So you can fit that plate on and kind of lock it in place. Then you've got the various buttons going up here, and as you can see, you've got the on-off button at the top left, you've got a mode button, menu button, a shot button. Now these have different functions and stuff depending on what kind of screen you're in. I'm not going to go through all those in detail, otherwise it's going to be really boring. Okay, you've got these two buttons here. As you can see, they say IR on it, so IR up, IR down. So a short press on this one here will increase the IR torch on it. So it will be off initially, press it once, and it has like basically power 1 of the IR torch. Every time you press it, it goes up to another sort of power on the torch. And then to sort of degrade that power, you knock that once. A long press on either of these is going to zoom in or zoom out on that as well. It's got like a 5 times focus. You've also got the manual focusing ring at the front here. Turning the device on its side then, what you've got is a little rubber cover just here, and you can see inside there. Well, I'm going to tilt the device a bit. So inside there you've got the power charging port on the left and the SD card holder on the right there. Let's just got that rubber cover there. Okay, going on the front of the device then, what you've got is the IR emitting point there and the objective lens there. Turning it over then, what you've got is some of the specs of the device there, and I'm not going to read through all that. If you're that way inclined, take a screenshot and you can read through it there. And you've also got a point there, the screw for attaching it to a tripod. Okay, so I've got the head mount on there. Then as you can see, it's kind of bulky, isn't it? You can see how much that kind of sticks out. It's kind of a little bit long, isn't it? But that's holding the device quite securely to my head there. So if I put that down now, that's what it looks like, and you can see it sticks out quite far from my face there. You would be able to use this hands-free, but it wouldn't be really super practical. You definitely couldn't run around with this on. It's not like, you think you're in SEAL Team 6 clearing buildings. That's not going to happen. But, if you were needing your hands to operate whatever else, like a radio or something like that, and using a static location, this is an option, but it's not the most secure. It kind of wobbles around a little bit on your head as you move. So like I say, if you're moving around, it's definitely not workable for that. There is an option where you can secure these to a helmet. They do a slightly different mounting piece. I'll put a picture up for that. However, I just think that the most practical use for these would be like binoculars with a strap around your neck and just lift them to your eyes and scan as you needed, as opposed to having them kind of down like this and kind of sticking right out. You can see that doesn't look the most kind of practical, does it? So that's just my thoughts on the use of the headset there. That's a quick talk through the device then and all the accessories that come with it. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take it outside and actually do some recording on the device so you can get a feel for what it looks like looking through it. Maybe have a bit of a look at the capabilities of this device.
Okay, I'm outside with the night vision device now. You can see there's a little bit of light showing through this fence line, these trees. This is around about 100 meters away now. I've not got the IR beam on yet. I'm just showing you what you can see with the kind of naked eye, and see how dark that is there, and a little bit of light showing through from different things there. Okay, so I'm going to head back to the 100 meter point, which is just there, and I'll switch on the IR light now. Look at that, that's on the lowest setting. So I'm going to put it up to 4, and you can see the difference there now. Look at that, look at the detail that you can see on that tree line and that fence line there now. And I'm going to scan across, you can see that grass now that you couldn't see beforehand, which is in the kind of foreground about 50 meters. And then scanning across there, you've got that tree line there. And again, you can pick out a lot more detail now, can't you? What I'm going to do now is I'm going to use the zoom. So I'm going to zoom in. So that's ×3 there, see that vehicle going past there. So this is around about, I reckon, about 170 meters from where I'm stood now. I'm going to scan across. You can see that the detail's getting lost now because this is at bigger distance. So I've put the beam up a bit more, but it's so that far distance there, the light that's being reflected off that sign, that's at around about 250 meters now. See the fence line there and stuff. Obviously there is a bit of light there, but now we've got the zoom on it now as well, and it's starting to pick up the detail. What I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in a bit more, but you can notice that detail's starting to blur out a little bit now. So that's probably best part of 300 meters at that point, right in the background of that vision there. So I'm going to zoom in. Yeah, that's lost now. So I'm going to zoom out again. That's ×3. I'm going to come back to about 2.5. So what I'm going to do is going to scan across, looking into these trees here. I'm going to put the beam up a little bit more. Yeah, that's about 250 meters there. You can see just about the detail of the trees and stuff there. Yeah, see that there. I mean, that's pretty good there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take down that beam. So that's off now. And you see the light reflecting from the street stuff, but there's not really much else. So I'm going to change that again just to show. Look at that straight away. So that's using the IR beam, and it's magnifying the light there. You can definitely make out the detail a lot better there, can't you? Yeah. So just a quick demonstration, and moving across the frontage of houses and stuff there. They're about 200 meters away from where I'm stood.
So that's the N4 night vision device then. Now, bear in mind that this is not a top of the range night vision device. There's obviously far better stuff out there, but you're going to be paying a lot of money for that kit. This actually retails for less than 100 quid. So I'll put a link to the GT Media website at the bottom of this video, and if you're interested in having a look, then check it out. Okay then, so what I'll do now then is I'll talk about pros and cons of the device and how I see it being best used. First, the pros then. So my first pro about this device then is it's very lightweight and it's relatively compact as well. I do know you can get some really small monoculars. I've used things like that in the past, but it's not a huge bit of kit, is it? Second one is it's pretty cheap. You know, for this kind of thing, I didn't actually have a clue how much this thing cost until they sent me it, and then I googled it and I thought, actually that's not bad at all, less than 100 quid for a night vision device. I thought they were all much more expensive than that. So the third one is it does actually give you capability, even though it's fairly limited, it gives you a decent capability of night viewing. Cons then. So my first con for this device then is it does only give you a limited amount of capability. So it says on the website, on the description, that it gives you around about 300 meters capability. I'd say it's very, very further stretched, okay? I'd say more realistically, you're talking maybe 250 meters. So that's the first con, is your limited distance and capability. The second one then is you can't really, I don't think practically you could use that as a set of night vision goggles. If you tried using that head mount and have it strapped to your head, it's kind of too long, it sticks out too far away from your face to make it very practical. You need to have something that's going to be a bit shorter than that. And you'd need to mount that on a helmet if you was ever going to try and use it to give the device the stability it needs to be able to operate. Okay, so that's the second con. The third one is, even though it doesn't feel super delicate, I would say that you definitely need to take care of that. The military NVGs that I've used in the past that have got a metal body on would take a lot more beating than that. If that got a bit of a hard knock, if you kind of, I don't know, if you stood on it or something, you're gonna wreck it. But that's the same with any kind of optics, really. You know, most optics you do have to take care of. You can't just knock them around the place and expect them to work. So that's my pros and cons for this device. How do I think these would be best employed then? Okay, so as seen on the video, they do give you a capability at seeing in complete pitch dark, okay? But because they do emit an IR beam, then if whoever's watching you has got an IR capability, then you're going to be seen as well, aren't you? It's going to show like a beam showing up. So these definitely aren't a tactical device. It's not the sort of thing that you could use in any kind of conflict zone. However, for civilian use, it does have its uses. You know, if you was having to protect a property, if you was like, you know, had a potential threat against you of people, you know, coming onto your land, stealing stuff and stuff like that, you could use these to just sweep the area at night, just to keep a lookout, especially if you had some sort of specified threat or something going on, all right? Also, for something like a bug out bag, you know, these are great. So if you wanted to have some sort of capability at night for things that may potentially happen in your area, then something like this would be good. It'd be a good little addition for your bug out bag. It's not a bad little thing to have, actually. And it's not going to break the bank, the cost of these sort of things. Okay, but as I've said, it's not a tactical device, okay? And I've spoken about that in the pros and cons of the device, but they've definitely got the use. Okay then, so that is the N4 night vision device from GT Media. As I said at the start of this video, they did send me this to trial. I didn't pay for it, but with all the things I try, you know, I'm always going to give it a fair trial, and that means good or bad. So this has got its uses, but it has got limitations as well. There's no way that you'd use something like this in a conflict zone because for a start, this emits a beam, doesn't it? And anyone else with a night vision device is going to see that sweeping around the place like a torch if they've got infrared. So this would be great for civilian use, but definitely not for military use, okay? So let me know what you think about it. Is this the sort of thing that any of you guys out there use? Have you seen any other alternatives to this that are better or worse? And how do you use something like this? If people do own this sort of thing, how do you use them? Because like I say, this is the first time I've experienced a civilian night vision device. All my experiences with military stuff. So if you've got any thoughts on this, put them in the comments below. Interested to see what you've got to say. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And as always, stay prepared.